Good day, writers. We are in for an adventurous devotional, an adventurous ride today. Mr. Chambers is asking us to consider reconciling ourselves to the fact of sin, and I am struggling with this one in terms of exactly how does Mr. Chambers believe that we are to reconcile ourselves to the fact of sin? Is it that he is saying we acknowledge it exists in our world, in the flesh, in our hearts and minds? Is he saying that we reconcile ourselves to the degrees in which it exists? Is he saying reconcile ourselves to the devious nature of sin and just how many different ways it exists? He brings up the idea that innocence is not the same as purity, and that took a little bit of the wind out of my sail until I thought about it a little bit more and realized that innocence is itself innocence. It is sort of a starting point. It is the soil, the fertile soil. Better to be innocent than to be full of shame and guilt and that sort of thing. So I get that. And purity, that is a much stronger and dynamic environment. So I understand how purity supersedes innocence, and all purity has an element of innocence, but not all innocence has purity in it. And so the idea of purity is where we should be hanging our helmet on today's devotional. Jesus had his antennas up and not a lot of confidence in what came out of men and women. He was on guard. He was aware that within us is, however innocent we may be, we are not pure until we are purified through the Holy Spirit in God. And even then we need to work out our salvation. We will still have chinks that need God's finger on them to smooth them out. And I think this idea of reconciling yourself to sin really slows our roll down in terms of how we approach things. And I think it gives us an adequate and proper disposition to enter into interactions where we need to be identifying the potholes and crags and cracks in the road, and making sure we don't get our wheels anywhere near that. So it's a concept this morning that I am going to be wrestling with all day long and returning to. I'll need to take this route again and again, because I do believe there is a richness and wisdom in what Mr. Chambers is getting at here in terms of reconciling myself to the fact of sin. It causes me to consider being much more cautious in how I approach matters of the Spirit, which are all matters. Until we write again, write on.